Drake's voice who said that?
On what?
Your producer tag.
Nah, he said it on one.
Oh, okay, no doubt. It's the best part of your job.
I guess the travel. You know
Yeah. Where's your favorite place that you went?
Miami. I just go for the beach, man, relax. Put my feet in the sun.
On June 18th, 2026, police in Nashville got a call to do a welfare check on a quiet apartment on Martin Street. What they found inside would send shockwaves through the entire music industry. The man they found wasn't just anybody. He was Brytavious Chambers, the Grammy-nominated genius the world knew as Tay Keith, the guy behind some of the biggest songs you've ever heard. He was only 29 years old. Before we go any further, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Because if you don't, you're going to miss the next case. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we cover on this channel. This is Shadow Crime, and we tell these stories so the people behind the headlines don't get forgotten. So go ahead, subscribe right now. I'll wait. Okay, let's get into it. If you don't know the name Tay Keith, you definitely know his sound. That deep, rattling 808 bass. Those sharp hi-hats that hit you right in the chest. If you've ever heard Travis Scott's Sicko Mode, you've heard Tay Keith. If you've ever heard Drake's Nonstop or First-Person Shooter, that's him too. This man built the soundtrack to an entire generation of hip-hop, and most people who screamed those lyrics in their car never even knew his name. Born in South Memphis in 1996, Tay Keith didn't come from money or connections. He started making beats at 14 years old, using basic software at home, just a kid with an ear for sound and nothing but time. He uploaded his beats to YouTube and to old hip-hop sites, hoping anybody would notice. And somebody did. He linked up with a young rapper named BlocBoy JB, and the two of them started building something together, one beat at a time. By 2018, that grind paid off in a way nobody could have predicted. He produced Look Alive for BlocBoy JB and Drake, and it shot up the charts. Then came Sicko Mode, then Nonstop. This kid from Memphis was suddenly one of the most in-demand producers on the planet, and he was still in college while it was happening. He actually finished his degree at Middle Tennessee State University, graduating in December of that same year. He said it himself. There wouldn't have been a point going to school if he didn't plan to finish it. By his last week of classes, he already had his first #1 single. That's the kind of discipline we're talking about here. A guy who could have dropped everything the moment the fame hit, and chose not to. He kept working, kept building, kept showing up. And for the next several years, his name was everywhere, even when his face wasn't. So how does a guy like this, someone at the absolute top of his career, end up found unresponsive in his own apartment at 29 years old? That's what we need to talk about next. To really understand why this hit the music world so hard, you have to understand just how far Tay Keith's reach actually went. We're not talking about a one-hit producer who got lucky once and disappeared. We're talking about a guy who worked with Beyonce, Eminem, Cardi B, 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Sexy Red, Lil Nas X, and Jennifer Lopez. 11 top 10 hits on the Hot 100 for #1 records. He even holds a record for the most #1 songs on the Hot R&B and hip-hop chart this entire decade, with 6. Think about that for a second. While most producers are happy to land one big placement in their whole career, this man from South Memphis was racking up chart toppers like it was nothing. But here's what makes his story even more interesting. He didn't stop at hip-hop. Tay Keith started branching out into country music, of all things. He founded a label and creative studio called Dramatize right there in Nashville and became the second black-owned studio in the entire city. He brought in country artists like Walker Hayes and Raina Roberts for collaborative sessions, blending genres that most people would never expect to mix. In 2025, Forbes recognized him on their 30 Under 30 music list for exactly this kind of work. So picture this man, 29 years old, Grammy nominations, a studio of his own, a reputation as one of the hardest working producers in the business. Just weeks before his death, he was still active online, still posting, still promoting other people's music. In fact, his very last post on Instagram on May 7th was him hyping up a new Chris Brown song featuring Sexy Red and Glorilla. He was still doing what he loved, right up until the end. And that's exactly why the story feels so heavy. There was no warning sign that the public could see, no farewell post. No indication that anything was wrong. Just a normal Thursday afternoon, and then police knocking on his door for a welfare check. When officers got inside that Nashville apartment, they found him unresponsive. Just like that, one of the most influential producers of his generation was gone, and nobody outside of that apartment knew it was coming. Now here's where things get complicated, and where a lot of speculation has already started creeping in online. Police came out fairly quickly and said something specific. They said no foul play is suspected. For a story like this, that detail matters a lot, because it shapes everything we think we know. But saying no foul play is suspected is very different from saying we know what happened. And that gap between what police are confirming and what they're still trying to figure out is exactly where we're headed next.
Say on behalf of, Warner Chapel, Big John, myself, the entire company, just wanted to come down, let you know how proud of you we are. You're setting a positive example for people to follow you. We couldn't be more proud of you. It says a lot about the man you were raised to be, just committing to something and sticking to it. You sat in our office from day one and told us that you was going to graduate. You did it. This is great, but this is your biggest number one right here.
Let's slow down here for a second, because I want you to really sit with what police actually said, word for word. Their official statement read that no foul play is suspected in the death of Brytavious Chambers, also known as Tay Keith, and that he was found in his Martin Street apartment by officers doing a welfare check. Then came the line that really matters. His death is unclassified, pending autopsy results. Now, if you watch enough of these videos with us, you know that phrase, unclassified, is a big deal. It doesn't mean police know what happened, and they're just not telling us. It means medical examiners have not yet determined the official cause or manner of death. That's it. No cause confirmed. No manner confirmed. Just a body, a quiet apartment, and a department that's being careful not to say more than they actually know. And look, I get why that's frustrating to hear. When someone this young, this talented, this seemingly on top of the world passes away, our brains want an answer immediately. We want a reason. Was it his heart? Was it exhaustion from years of nonstop work? Was it something nobody saw coming at all? Right now, none of us actually know, and importantly, neither do the police yet. This is the part where I have to be honest with you, because that's what we do on this channel. We don't make things up just to keep you hooked. As of right now, there's been no official cause of death released. Not by police, not by his family, not by any credible source. Anyone online claiming they know exactly what happened inside that apartment is guessing, plain and simple. What we do know is that the tribute started pouring in almost immediately. Fans and fellow artists flooded social media, talking about what his sound meant to them, how his beats shaped entire eras of music they grew up on. One person online said it best, calling him arguably the greatest producer to ever come out of Memphis, and pointing out just how unbelievable it is that someone could accomplish what he did in his 20s, only to pass away at 29. That contrast, the massive success against the sudden silence, is what makes this story sit so heavy with people. He wasn't struggling publicly. He wasn't fading from the spotlight. He was actively working, actively posting, actively building right up until the moment everything stopped. So where does that leave us? We have a confirmed death. We have a police statement ruling out foul play. And we have an entire industry waiting on one document that hasn't been released yet, the autopsy report. That report is the only thing that can turn unclassified into an actual answer. And until it drops, every single theory floating around online is just that, a theory. So, what do we actually know for certain right now? Let's break that down next.
The music community is mourning the death of a Grammy-nominated music producer who died in Nashville yesterday. 29-year-old Tay Keith made hit songs with major artists like Beyonce and Drake.
Yeah, Jaxie Pigeon is joining us live this morning in Nashville, sharing how he is being remembered this morning. Jaxie.
Mark and Nicole, friends, classmates, and MTSU leaders are remembering Tay Keith as someone who never forgot where he came from, even as his career took off. Now Grammy-nominated producer Tay Keith, whose real name was Brytavious Chambers, died on Thursday at 29 years old. Metro police say officers found him dead during a welfare check at his apartment. The Memphis native helped create hits for artists including Drake, Travis Scott, Beyonce, and Eminem, all while building a career that started during his time at Middle Tennessee State University. Artist and songwriter Langston Blue, who attended MTSU with Tay Keith, says his story resonated with people who shared a similar background.
He was not like a super duper talkative person, a super duper flexer or anything like that. Like, you can be good and be successful, like off just like your talent. You don't have to do like all the tricks and things of that nature. But I think like representation was what I was looking for. Representation. I think people saw a lot of themselves in Tay and saw that like if Tay Keith can make it, I can make it.
Police have not released a cause of death yet, but as this investigation continues, some of hip-hop's biggest names are continuing to share memories with the producer who helped shape the sound of the last decade. Live in Nashville, Jaxie Pigeon, News 2.
So let's bring this all together, because there's actually a twist here, even if it's not the kind of twist you're used to from our other cases on this channel. The twist isn't a hidden suspect or a cover-up. The twist is this. A man who built an entire career off control, precision, and discipline. The same guy who finished his college degree while topping the charts. The same guy who built his own studio from nothing. Died in a moment that nobody could control or predict. No warning. No public struggle. No final goodbye. Just a regular Thursday, and then silence. That's the part that's been sitting with so many people online. We're used to true crime stories having a clear villain, a clear motive, something to point to. This one doesn't give us that, at least not yet. What it gives us instead is a reminder that even the people who seem to have everything figured out, the talent, the money, the respect of the entire industry, can still be hiding something we never see from the outside. Whether that something was physical, mental, or just the weight of non-stop work for over a decade. We genuinely don't know yet. And that's where I want to leave this with you, because this case isn't closed. The autopsy results haven't been released. If new information comes out, cause of death, toxicology, anything official, we will absolutely come back and update you on this channel the moment it happens. We don't believe in dropping a story and never circling back. That's not what shadow crime is about. But for now, I want you to actually think about this with me for a second. How many people in your own life seem completely fine on the outside, posting, working, showing up every single day, while quietly carrying something you'd never guess? How do we as fans, as an audience, get so close to someone's art and still know almost nothing about the person actually creating it? And maybe the harder question, why does it always take a tragedy like this for us to actually stop and look at the human being behind the music? I don't have perfect answers to those questions. And honestly, I don't think anyone does. But I think they're worth sitting with. If this story affected you the way it affected me putting it together, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And make sure that bell icon is turned on, because we're going to update this case the second real answers come out, and you do not want to miss it. This is Shadow Crime. We tell the stories behind the headlines. And we'll see you in the next one. That's the case for now. Rest easy, Tay Keith.